Joining me today on our USFL podcast interview series, I have the pleasure to be joined by a newly drafted and starting quarterback for the New Jersey Generals, Ben Holmes, joining me for this edition of our interview series. Ben, thank you for joining me here. I really appreciate getting to talk to players, and for yourself, you have to be experiencing a lot, just getting a big crack at a professional opportunity like this. How are you doing lately? How's the has everything settled in for you, and what's going on so far in your life?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. And it has been crazy since I've gotten drafted, I guess, if you will. But it's there's definitely no days off, as they say. As soon as I got drafted, I probably had 100 different people reach out to me to do either like a podcast or an interview or whatever. I just don't really have time right now we're doing Zoom meetings with Coach Riley and our position coach. And, I still got to work out. I still got to go throw. And I'm trying to spend as much time as I can with my family before I leave, just because they can't come up there. So I have a little 1-year-old. So I'm trying to spend as much time with her and my girlfriend as possible. So.
Completely understandable. I mean, the season's, less, it's 40 days away right now.
Right.
I mean, that's got to be, I mean, for training camp, even less time for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get everything up to speed right now. And Zoom, I
Yeah.
mean, even with Zoom links, I mean, I can't imagine doing all that right now. And I thank you for even taking the time on our show, like you're mentioning there. That means a lot to me, you giving me that chance to talk with you. So thank you very
Yeah.
much
No
as I
problem.
say it on this. Ben, I do this with every player, and I've gotten your story outside of here. WGRZ NBC did a great job discussing with you further. But if you'd like to elaborate for our audience, at least, your journey for football has been something. From what
Yeah.
my understanding of the story, and I'm just putting that lightly. And if you care to share, I'd
Yeah.
love to hear your path, at least all the way up to here and now.
Right. Yeah. It's a long one, and it's a road less traveled. I don't even know if it's been traveled or not, but it's a story of just perseverance and overcoming certain things in life. And it started when I was a junior in high school. I didn't play quarterback. I was a receiver, and then my senior year I played a little bit of quarterback, but I had no idea what I was doing. I was just an athlete out there running around. So and then I had zero offers. And this is the kind of the short version of the story,
Sure, sure.
but I had zero offers. Nobody wanted me. And a small little JUCO in Long Island called Nassau Community College, took a shot on me. But through that whole process, my mom was very sick. She had a disease called scleroderma, and it attacks your organs and it tightens your skin, and it's just a terrible disease. And that ultimately took her life in 2017. So it was tough for me to play football and deal with her kind of deteriorating, if you will. But in 2014, I went to Nassau, 2014 and 15. And you can ask anybody at Nassau or all my coaches. We would have a game on Saturday at noon usually, and I would drive 8 hours back and see my mom in Orchard Park. And then coach made Monday practices at 7:30 at night. So I would stay Saturday, stay Sunday, and then leave early Monday morning to make practice. And they knew what I was going through, and they said absolutely go for it. Just be safe, and if you get tired, pull over. But that's the type of relationship me and my mom had. I was really committed to helping her out with her health and stuff like that. And then in 2015, I signed with Stony Brook University.
Okay.
So 1AA in Long Island. And then that's when my mom kind of got worse and worse and worse. So that summer, so it was like 16 summer, I ended up saying, I'm not going to play football anymore. I'm just going to go home and take care of her and, kind of figure out her situation. Because my dad, he was on the road. My sister, she was kind of gone. She was living in the city, not really here or there or whatever, but she was living her life. So I stayed home with mom and, tried to do the best for her. And, I'm not really good with, shots and stuff like that. So we hired an in-home nurse and all that. But, in 16 and then 17 came, I still wasn't playing football. I was just kind of out of it. And I didn't really want to play football at that time. My focus was my mom. And then ultimately she ended up passing away in May of 2017. And at that time I was, they talk about mental health and stuff like that. And I was just I was in a dark place, and I needed something to get out of it. So I was looking for a job. I was looking for really anything. And I got a Twitter, like, the old, like, Twitter, like DM thing, from a coach called, from Tarleton, and his name is Tate Witten. And he's honestly one of my best friends to this day. But he was just like, "Hey buddy, my name's Tate Witten. I'm from Tarleton State. We need a quarterback and you're very high on our list." And I messaged him right back. I said, "Coach, I don't even know what that is, but I'm coming. Like, I'm on the way." And he kind of laughed, and we shared some phone conversations, and we got everything situated. But I needed to get out of Buffalo bad, and Tarleton came into my life, and that coaching staff came into my life at the perfect time. And I took that opportunity and ran with it. And then in 17, I got down there. So the summer of 17, I got down there. Then it came back that my grades were not good enough to play. So I had a gray shirt. And then in 18 and 19, I won the starting job. And then we won our conference championship. And, I was an All-American. And then my senior year, I was player of the year. I was an All-American. Not to like be bragging or anything, but I think I hold a lot of records there at Tarleton, especially for only 2 years of competition. I think I was 23-2. I threw for almost 6,000 yards and 60 some touchdowns and only 9 interceptions. So I had two pretty good seasons. And, but I had really good receivers, really good offensive line, good coaching staff to kind of help me through that. And then after Tarleton, I knew I wanted to play. And, this is kind of a funny story, and nobody really knows this part, but we have a video guy named Ben. But we were looking for agents, and we were looking for guys to go work out, go train. And I was like, "Dude, you got to pretend you're my agent. I don't care what your name is, just pretend you're my agent, because these guys aren't going to talk to us. They're not going to do anything." So he was pretending to be my agent so I could, sign and go train somewhere. And it was hilarious. And I ended up signing with a real agent. But I had no idea. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how the game worked, So I went up to Michigan, trained for 2 months with Jim Kelbasso and Donovan Dooley. And I got to do my pro day at University of Buffalo. And then that Wednesday after my pro day, COVID hit. So everything shut down. I couldn't go to any more workouts. I couldn't, do any more pro days, nothing. So that was it for me. And then, so that year came and gone, didn't get signed, didn't get picked up, not even a sniff. And then that following year I got signed, or I got put on Toronto Argonauts. What do you call it? The neg list there.
Yeah. The negotiations. That's right.
Yeah. So I got put on that. And they never signed me. And then I said, I got to go play football somewhere. And I signed with the Arizona Rattlers, the indoor football league. Lasted about 2 weeks. And I said, this is not for me. It was, I don't know if you ever watched indoor football.
You're talking to the right guy. If I don't watch outdoor, indoor is like my instant switch.
So you know all about the Rattlers and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. And they have a really good quarterback there. His name's Drew Powell. He just won MVP. Really nice dude. My roommate was Dylan Winfrey. He was the defensive player of the year. I still talk to him daily. Yeah. So they had a really, really good team. And I was new, I was still learning the plays, learning the game, because it's just different. And I saw Drew take a hit in the second game up in Sioux Falls, and I said, I'm not doing this. This is not for me. He got smashed into the boards, and I was like, yeah, this isn't. I don't think this is it.
Not like you're already playing on a thinly carpeted floor anyway.
Right.
Which I still understand how people do that. Still,
yeah, it's crazy. So I came home we had like a bye week. Came home to San Antonio, and I got a call from Larry Kirksey, and he said, hey, I'm with the Sea Lions of the Spring League, and we're looking for a quarterback. And we got a guy on our coaching staff, Coach DePew, that's going for to bat for you. So why don't you come on down if you're free? And I said, yeah, I'm free. So I came down on a Tuesday. Coach Kirksey spent about 2.5 hours with me. I had to drive to Houston, learn the playbook, and then the next day the ones were up and then the twos went in, and he was like, all right, Ben, you're in. I was like, whoa, what do you mean I'm in? So we start going, and it was a really fun time there, and I got to spend time with DeAndre Johnson, who the Generals drafted, as their second quarterback or whatever, in the 12th round, whatever round it was.
Sure.
So I got to spend some time with him, and we've spent some time in Michigan training together, so we're pretty close. We got a good friendship, and I got to spend some time with Cavante Turpin. We drafted him as well. So, there's some familiar faces there. But anyway, so spring league ends. Didn't get a call from anybody. And then, a couple months ago, I got a call from Coach Riley. I didn't know who it was, a Nebraska number. So I thought it was a telemarketer. So I put it right to voicemail. And I got a text from that number saying, hey, this is Coach Mike Riley. I'd love to have a conversation with you. We had a great conversation, and one thing led to another. And I was there on February 22nd getting drafted. So
I mean, that journey's nuts,
it's crazy.
It's funny because I'll admit, and for many of us too, you see the reactions to the draft, and I think many people knew at least 6 to 7 quarterbacks. I think, like, for example, I think you and Brian Scott had got the most "who's this guy" type of reactions.
Yeah,
to a lot of
that's
people.
okay.
But that's adversity, that I think I'm assuming you'll thrive off that type of stuff like that. It's kind of a proof of challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely do. I saw some of the comments. My girlfriend texted me like, are you looking at the comments because they're asking who you are? And I was like, yeah, I would too. I don't know like, if I was a fan, I don't know who I am. Didn't get really much of an opportunity anywhere. And, all of a sudden I'm drafted 4th overall, you know what I mean? So, but it's nothing new to me though. So.
Oh, sure. I'm going to come out eating crow because I don't want to sound like a hypocrite here. Because a friend of us might have passed along. We put you as 8 on the list of QBs.
Yeah, that's
our
fine.
rankings. And, I put that as, challenge.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what you can do in Mike Riley's system here.
Right.
You're talking the weapons and the staff. Heck, even at the same QB room, that's got to be an advantage for yourself. How's it having at least people that you're able to say, hey, I've had at least some sort of connection with for the season?
Yeah, it makes it more of a comfortable situation. You can kind of be yourself. You can express yourself how you want to. Our quarterback coach is the same quarterback coach as Eric Rollins. He does a great job. Coach Smith is our run game coordinator, or O-line coach, if you will. He's a really cool dude. We get on Zoom. He's listening to his jazz and his, I call it hotel music, but he loves that stuff. And then Coach Riley's just a down to earth guy, super cool. Really, really humble guy. You wouldn't have known that he was the head coach of the Chargers. He's just some random dude. He's in Zoom meetings. He's wearing these tie-dye shirts and kind of looks like a little bit of a hippie there, but he's a super cool dude. And I'm really excited to play for him. And, we're diving into the playbook right now as we speak. And it's complicated, but there's some really cool stuff that is going in this week. And I'm just excited to, do it on the field now. So,
well, you kind of jumped into my next thing here because I was going to ask about. Well, no. I see. That's funny. I always am okay with that because I imagine with Zoom calls you can only get so much done. At least that's reading up on at least even like NFL teams with how little you can do in the off season with that. For yourself, is it more just trying to be a sponge and absorb what you can out of the playbook since you're really, no pun intended, the field general for the Generals that's coming up this season.
So I'm trying to just go day by day and, whatever information that they give me, I'm trying to retain as much as possible. And if I have questions, they always say, hey, just call us whenever. It doesn't matter what time of day. They're always ready to talk ball. I think any coach is like that. So, we're taking it slow and, he gives us piece by piece and it's starting to come together. But it's more complex than anything I've seen, obviously. but it's good stuff, and it creates mismatches, and it's just an overall great playbook. And I don't want to give too much away, so I'm trying to
No,
figure out
no.
what to say. But it's just a good grouping of run, pass, stuff like that. So
Well, I will ask this though, and hey, if you don't can't give more away, I'll feel free to
right.
say nothing. But I mean, do you have had any chance to like talk with receivers? I know those connections. Obviously, you have Cavante Turpin, but I mean, do you able to do that with Zoom calls, or have you had any chances to do that with any position players like that?
Yeah, so Jamon Moore, he went to Missouri, played for the Browns there for a little bit. We drafted him. I don't know what round we drafted him in, but I've actually thrown with him about 4 or 5 times. He's just
Okay.
right down in Houston, so I've got to go see him. I think his name is Chris. Don't quote me on that, but Platt Jr. from
Hmm.
Baylor. I haven't gotten to throw with him yet, but we've talked via text. And right when I got drafted, and then once I saw the linemen get drafted, I reached out to each one of them. Gave them a message. Really just introducing myself, and I usually start out with, "Hey, I know you have no idea who I am, but I'm your quarterback," and they usually get a laugh out of that, and they're just all excited to work. And I got a message. Oh, I forgot his name already. Um, but he was a safety, and I was like, oh, okay. And we drafted to our team, and he messaged me, and I said, who is this guy? Like, I have no idea who he is. And he's like verified on Instagram, all that stuff. And he's like, hey man, like, I just want to let you know that I'm really excited to work with you. And I watched your film, and I remember you from the spring league. You're a really good leader and stuff like that. And if the defensive guys are taking notice, then that means I'm doing something right. So that was really cool to see. And so, yeah, we don't really meet on Zoom as like a whole team. It's just position groups. So I haven't really got to put a name to a face yet, but we will here pretty soon. We report on the 22nd. So,
Nice. Yeah, and it's amazing how quickly that's coming up. Even for us, we're just fans
right.
and media alike. We're just excited to get that ball rolling. It's feeling
Mm-hmm.
more and more real every day. Especially that supplemental draft coming up. You'll have more teammates to talk to here soon enough.
Yeah,
Even
definitely.
with that, I want to touch back here, and this is based on the WGRZ interview and write up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned with football back in like 2016 or something, you and football weren't getting along really well. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
I feel, and to saying that confidently, that has changed. Where are you with football right now?
Yeah, besides, obviously God and my family, it falls right there. Probably at that number 3 spot. Um, you know, I've grown to fall in love with it again. Because at that time I didn't love it. I didn't want anything to do with it. My main focus was my mom. And obviously there's a reason for everything, and there's a reason that God brought me back to football. And um, getting drafted and stuff like that. And he gave me an opportunity when I needed it the most. And because even now I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I didn't want to play arena football, I'll tell you that much. And I didn't want to go
Right.
overseas. Yeah, I didn't want to go over to like Germany or whatever and play over there. And Canada, wasn't, I guess, just wasn't in my cards at the time. At the time now, and like I said, I needed an opportunity, and he opened a door for me. And so I'm totally in love with football. And but I have other loves, and it kind of keeps me grounded. I love my girlfriend. I love my little daughter. That comes first, and obviously God comes first too. So, and then there's football. So it's good to. I know some guys just football, 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 and then when
Right.
football, you got to get off the field sometimes, and kind of level your head out. And my family does a really good job of kind of keeping me grounded and keeping me sane, or else I'd be, going crazy over this whole football thing. So, and I think when you talk to more and more guys that play at a high level, like the professional level, it's still weird to call myself a professional, because I'm still just a dude just playing the game that he loves. You know what I mean? So, but hearing all these other interviews with guys, they always try and talk about mental health and stuff like that. They try and find a way to kind of detach from the game, and find something else that they love to do. And, for me, it's just spending time with my family or golfing, really. So, So that's how I found my happy medium. But like I keep saying, my love for football has never been greater. So I just can't wait. I can't wait to step out on that field again. Even in practice, I just can't wait to practice and be in the locker room and be in the film room and breaking down the opponent and then stepping out there on April 16th. Under the lights. It's going to be great. A lot of my family is going to be at the game, so it'll be fun.
Right. I mean, you get to be in the premier game, two networks. Like,
Right.
talk about the sports world being on you. Like,
Yeah.
I found that, I'm chuckling when you say it doesn't feel like being a professional, but I mean, you really are. You're going to be one of the highlight guys to show an example of what this league can do for folks.
Right.
Not only just like in another avenue, but just showing that opportunities are available for those,
Mm-hmm.
even in the most obscure or different paths that a football player can take.
Right. And I think that's the coolest thing is like, kids or high school kids or whoever you are, will look at maybe my story and see where I'm at now. And maybe they won't give up or, it's just so weird to talk about that. Like, I've never thought I was going to be an inspiring human being to someone, or someone to look up to. But, now it's kind of looking that way, So, I've never really thought about it until a couple of weeks ago when someone did a story about my my past and stuff like that, and they were like, this is inspiring. Like, I hope kids watch this. And I was like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Like, it's just my life that I'm going through. I don't wish what I went through. I don't wish on my worst enemy. So I hope kids don't have to go through that. But if they do, I always want to let people know that I'm always here. For anybody, I may not get back to you as quickly as I can because obviously with the last couple of weeks, my DMs, if you will, or text messages have been just flooded, but I try and respond to everybody. And, I want to be that guy that someone can look up to and, be there for people, whoever they are. I don't care, who you are, where you come from, what you look like, you're a human being at the end of the day. So,
Mm-hmm. Very good, well and placed words there. Really like
yeah.
that little rap. Before we go, and again, thank you for joining me. Really,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I can only imagine how busy your position group for yourself being quarterbacks right now for all of these teams are.
Right.
I gotta ask, what are your personal goals for just the season? I mean, it could be statistical, just play, film. Do you have at
Yeah.
least one or two that you can give us?
I think that the number one is getting higher up on your list at the end. No.
Well, that's
uh,
fair.
yeah, no. I think the number one thing that I want to do is I want to be a team captain.
Okay.
I think I want to, set the tone early for what my intentions are and for what our team's intentions are and the coaching staff. And I want to reiterate that every single day. So being a team captain would mean a lot to me. Obviously starting would be unbelievable, but it's a good room. DeAndre's a really good quarterback. So I know he's going to push me and I'm going to push him. We're going to have to come to work every day, but, you know, I'm not a big guy of like, win a championship or win the MVP or what. I'm just going to take it day by day, practice by practice, meeting by meeting. And, on Saturday or I've seen there's some Friday games too, or even Sunday, hopefully we come out on top. And, at the end of the day, I want my teammates to know that, I give my best. I give 110% each game. And, if that's what they see and that's what, they tell me I'm given, and I don't really care about leading the league in anything or, being the MVP. I just want to play for my teammates, my family, and my coaching staff. And so I know I didn't really answer your question, but probably the biggest one would just be a leader and be a team captain and, let the chips fall where they may. So.
Well, I was going to say, I thought you answered it pretty well. Gave me plenty of details, so
right.
you have nothing to fault me on.
Right.
I think that's a pretty awesome goal to aspire to, and I definitely you're already giving me confidence that you'll have a shot at doing that. But
right.
Hey, quarterbacks are leaders of the team, so
right.
You're obviously trying to exemplify that. Ben, thank you very much for your time. Wishing you best of luck here. April 16th is right around the corner, and many of us will be excited to see you hit the field with the Generals.
Yes,
we're looking forward to it.
Thank you. Really appreciate you having me on.